Defiant to the end, huh?
What you gonna do, huh? We've swept this place. You've got nothing. We have guns.
No, what you have are bullets, and the hope that when your guns are empty, I'm no longer standing, because if I am, you'll all be dead before you've reloaded.
That's impossible. Kill him.
My turn. Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea. And ideas are bulletproof.
Truth in the rain. How you going, Blue?
I'm going well. I just got plugged in late. In fact, I'm not even on headphones yet. How you been?
Good. I've been working hard, and also taking time out to play with the kids a little bit. So that's been good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we had a. I sent you guys the messages. We had a rock concert the night, and we've been out playing in the backyard. The rain between the rain coming down and settling on. Yeah, good. I'm feeling good. You know what?
What?
I brought wine. Drinking wine tonight, like a true connoisseur.
God. So it's a wine night instead of a whiskey night.
If I don't drink it now, I'll chuck it out because I don't really drink wine. You know, like I don't have a wine of glass with dinner or something. But
what do you call
Mel
those?
thought Mel thought she'd buy me this bottle of French wine, Côte de Rhône, and it's like, God, how am I going to get through this? You know, I don't think it doesn't last forever. That's the problem. So I think I'm just going to finish off the bottle.
So what's other than just wanting to hang out, what's our excuse for streaming tonight?
Well, the name of the stream, to CG or not to CG, that is the question.
Oh, there we are. I'm not even loaded up yet. I don't even have the screens loaded yet.
Yeah, I was. We didn't do the late night with Comicsgate yesterday. I was. That talk with Elizabeth was really intellectually. You know, I had to focus, and then actually, should have gone double the length because we just kept talking in the backstage. But maybe that just means she'll come back at some point down the future, and people really did respond well to that show. So I hope she does.
I hope we get her back because it sounds like she had a lot more to contribute. Except some dude with dark hair kept talking for her. So I'm teasing you.
Yeah. Let's say hello to some people in the chat.
Hey, Rick Saylor.
Rick Saylor. A lot of you will notice that I made you mods. You can thank Jason Black for that. He was like, a lot of these guys, they come every single show. And I was like, yeah, they do. They should be rewarded. So we've got a lot of new wrenches in here tonight. Oh, speaking of new people, Bandito, how you going?
Hail and well met.
Hey, Bandito.
Hey, Blue, how are you doing?
I'm well.
Good to hear.
How was your nap?
It was very restful.
Awesome.
Yes.
A power nap. Do you call them power naps there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the quick little 30-minute thing. They are surprisingly powerful.
Yeah, that's kind of how I get through most of my day. Is I don't never get like 4 hours of sleep. So
You're like Da Vinci. You just do like short naps throughout the day.
yeah, like 45 minutes to hour and a half, and then
You should just say, I'm totally Da Vinci.
Distant relative.
When a woman asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Bancroft's not a woman. What?
I know. Look at that. Very womanly.
Oh, yeah. Context.
Mo Biggs, how you going, buddy?
Hail,
Caddick
Papa.
Neutral says interdasting. Do you think he meant interesting? Because he's doing this. It is a mystery with that guy. He says he's gone off to get some food or something. Oliver's here. He says, hey, yo. Abel's here. Great to see you here, buddy. Yes, CG. Not to be a SJW, though. Well, yeah, for me, CG. But for others, clearly not. So we're going to talk about that today. Simon's in the house. He says, hello, everyone. Hey, right back at you, Simon.
Great to see you, Sim.
Rick Saylor. Look at Rick Saylor. He says hello to everybody. Look at
Light.
Sim's book is going out right now. He's at the tail end of fulfilling, and everyone's posting about it. It looks amazing. Everyone seems to be super happy right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Even Mel is happy to be upgraded to the wrench. I didn't tell her that I did that. Can you read that? Can anyone read that?
Oh boy. Je suis à tout en bonne nuit. No, I can't read it.
Valiant effort.
I don't know how to read that second word. Souhaite. Je souhaite à tout une bonne nuit.
Je souhaite.
Mel will know how much of a foul that was. Paperback Art is here. He says, hey. And Todd's Truth is here too. Who else?
Great, Sim. He's upgraded his icon.
Oh, he has too.
Wow.
He wanted to make it clear. Or did he have Todd's Truth? He did Todd's Truth in his name earlier, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think who was it? Mo saying his Todd's Truth.
We all call him that. Look at that little symbol. It's like the sideways all-seeing eye. It's the Unluminati. Yeah. He's not the Illuminati. He's the other one. Yeah.
He's the upgraded
The Unluminati. The Unluminati.
Unluminati.
Look at Mo. He's actually impressed with me. Wow. I don't know how to continue after that.
Okay, I see honeycomb in his icon. It's not just black. We're
Is
on
it?
to Mo.
It's always been that way.
I didn't see that. My screen must be turned down. It's all black to me.
I thought it was like dragon scales or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gusto's here. Wow, we got some people turned out. They want to hear about what we're going to say.
Of course.
And we're going to
the
say some
sexiest chat in
things.
Comicsgate. Everyone's showing up.
Daniel Z's here. Look at this. Oh, God. You know there's a lot of people in the chat when it does that thing. It flicks down and you miss a whole bunch of things. So I apologize if I'm just scrolling over your here. Oh, there's Antoine there. He says, cheers, gents. Hey, Antoine, how you going, buddy? Statistical Zero's in here. Great to see you. He says, hello, all. Awesome. Just popping in for a little bit while I finish up some drawing. Great to see you here, man. Lord Finatra's in here as well.
All right.
And Critical Blast. He says, whether tis better to suffer the slings and arrows of SJWs. Yes,
it is.
Exactly.
William
it is
C,
better.
Right back at you, William C. from the three of us.
Oh, William C. as well. Good evening, Hal Bancroft, Blue Samurai, Smiling Bandito, Hal Chat. Right back at you, man. And there you go, Jason. I was just mentioning you. Yes, I finally upgraded the wife. Norin Rad as well. Says
longer battery
well.
life, more power. Yeah.
Bandito, what are we talking about today?
Red pilling.
Red pilling.
People coming into Comicsgate maybe before they're ready. What else?
People coming onto Indiegogo, which, as anyone has seen from those articles floating around, Indiegogo is a den of scum and villainy.
Yes.
Full of those hateful CGers. So even if you step on there, you're getting, even if you're completely above board, you're getting your shoes covered in mud just by walking around on the same floors as us.
We must be cautious.
And that seems to be what a few people are running into. Now that we've got a lot, we're going to have a big. I mean, the secret is out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Crowdfunding. If you're especially if you're an independent, like people are going to forget. Trying to go to Boom or Image.
We shouted too loud, and even the deniers can no longer deny it. Comicsgate is a good market.
Yeah.
So I was on Twitter earlier and I saw a bit of a strange discussion happening. It seemed to oscillate between pleasant and getting a little bit heated. I'm just going to share who we're talking about here. So this guy here, apparently Bandito, you are in contact with this guy, so you actually know who he is. I remember I'd seen the book he's talking about, but hadn't really gone into it, looked into it that closely. Nick Mack, he's from a thing called Peerless Kung Fu Comic. And he's saying his new comic series is now on Indiegogo, but he's not a Comicsgate project. That's a funny thing now, isn't it? I'm an Indiegogo, but I'm not Comicsgate. Don't worry.
Well, Luke Stone just went through that where, because you're on Indiegogo, how dare you, don't you know that's where Comicsgate hangs out? And Luke Stone, oh God, I hope I'm not misquoting him on that one, because several people have dealt with this. And he just said, yeah, I'm Comicsgate. Can't you tell? It would just paraphrase.
Yeah, he did. He definitely has been sort of out and out proud. He said just the other day, I've been in Comicsgate for all of 4 days, and the hate and vitriol he's gotten from his from the other side, the other camp, has been insane. Mm-hmm. And he says he's had nothing but welcomes and open arms from this side of the fence. Mm-hmm. So he's getting he had the red pill sort of rammed down his throat, almost without his consent. They're doing it for him, showing their true colors.
Yeah, that's a tale that's often told, is that they didn't join Comicsgate because of Comicsgate, but because of the way other people treated them with just the mere mention of being connected to Comicsgate.
Yeah, so anyway, someone has said to this guy on Facebook, apparently, that his book won't fund on Indiegogo because the majority community there will not back and I'm going to put quote on this, quote unquote diverse book, because I just I feel dirty when I say that. It's it's an adjective. That's a diverse book, as if, because we all know what they mean. And I actually pointed that out. You're talking about characters, Black, Asian, Hispanic, something like that, or the creators are minorities, and as if a book set in with all white characters can't be diverse, as if that word purely all it means is just the specific description of the demographics of the United States. And that's supposed to reflect across globally. And I really don't like that in it, but we know what he's talking about. And he's asking, is this true? And a lot of people in this thread, they're defensive, rightfully so. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of pushing back at him. Other people are trying to sort of educate him. That's the tack I took. I just made a response just so that I could show, just off the top of my head, a bunch of books that have been embraced by Comicsgate. Whether or not they consider themselves Comicsgate or not is irrelevant.
Do we count accepting zombies as evidence of non-racism?
Well, that's what I said. It's saying a diverse book. It isn't clear. Are you talking about the creators? Are you talking about the characters? What are you talking about?
We so don't care about your ethnicity as a creator that we'll take dead people. I mean, it's that. Exactly.
And we'll take frogs. We'll take robots. It doesn't matter. So here's just straight off the top of my head, 5 or 6 books that fit into his thing. That shows they have been a success on Indiegogo with this CG crowd. Jim Cox says, I've backed non-CG campaigns, probably not going to back campaigns that go out of their way to say they're not CG. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing about CG.
As a little bit of backstory, this book was on Kickstarter and funded, and they finished their Kickstarter funding over there. And then when they decided that they wanted to do a second campaign, they came to Indiegogo. So in coming to Indiegogo, that is where the comment came from. Someone saying, "Oh, now you're doing Indiegogo? Well, it won't fund over there because
because they're all
it's filled with
filled with hateful people."
Yeah, hateful people.
Yeah. So here's a bit of context here. Look, guys, this is the most preparation I've ever done for a show. I did a bit of research.
Yeah,
I got more than 2 tabs ready.
Yeah.
So here's Peerless.
Almost exhausted looking at it.
Here's Peerless on Kickstarter. It finished up just the other day. Yeah, maybe just today. It says August 16th. Or maybe that's just the last update. So maybe it's still going. I don't know. I don't know how Kickstarter works. I can never remember.
Now,
so anyway,
they've raised. Chris is the production side of it, and Nick is the writer.
Okay. Yeah, so 6,500 from 228 backers, and they've just launched a couple of days ago on Indiegogo, and they've gotten 13 backers, $189. And I'll be interested to actually have a look through this campaign to see, if there's any sort of maybe they haven't done sort of best practices for Indiegogo. I don't know. I haven't looked through it yet, but I mean, just judging off this image, it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, it looks like a solid book.
No,
and I think I can speak for all CG that no, we don't care if your main character is a black woman.
Seriously. Now, Bandito showed me this tweet a little while ago from what's his name from Nick Mack.
Nick.
Yeah, yep. and so not knowing the context on it, I can give you guys a few reactions in sequence, and then knowing the context on it, changing that, and then how my point of view comes around. But there's also how he's coming across. So
I think Antoine just nailed it.
There's so many factors in this.
Antoine says this sounds like a marketing scheme to get folks on Indiegogo to back the book.
That's one of my first reactions to this, is not knowing, just someone on Facebook said, okay, not knowing anything beyond that. I would want it to, I'm sorry, go chronologically. I already looked at this book. I already looked at the campaign before any of the controversy. I knew nothing of the controversy today. And I thought, this looks pretty good. I'll have to think it over and look at it again. Not a big deal. So I'm considering it. And then I see this, and it's, why are you trying to manipulate me? This reminds me of a pastor who did a youth conference. This lecture he gave went viral years ago. His name's Paul Washer. Anyway, he did this very scalding lecture, and in it he included this horrendous fallacy that because of the things he was saying, the organizers would disagree with so much they'll never invite him back. Well, the factual problem with saying that was it was a one-off. There is no invite back. It's not an annual event. So, but the manipulative thing in there is, if you invite me back, it's because you came to my way of thinking, and that proves I'm right. And if you don't invite me back, it also proves I'm right. There's no way out of it. So using that as an example to parallel this, hey, prove to me you're not racist, buy my book. No, I don't like this attitude.
Okay, yeah, that is, and I think a lot of people, if you read through this thread, if anyone wants to go find it, had that exact same response as you, and they're like, because we're on the defense, because it's constant, and but having read his replies to some of them, and I don't know this guy from anything. He says, no, I'm just asking questions. This is where I just go onto social media to ask questions. This is what I've been told. Is this true? Like, did I make a mistake coming here, like, to Indiegogo? Will you guys actually back a book with and
that's the
diverse people on it?
And that's the context that somebody walking in bare like me would not have. Is how is he actually responding to people? He clarifies his own thing, etc.
Hey, Drew, how you going? Haven't seen you around in a while. Great to see you here. He says, CG won't back a diverse comic. I mean, it is on the face of it absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I posted just off the top of my head, and there must be more. And if we're talking about, the colorist is from Indonesia, for example, that's half CG books, So
William C. got it right with, it's the have you stopped beating your wife question.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's how that's one way to interpret it. And again, I don't know if that's what he's saying, but it definitely, Twitter being Twitter, you definitely can interpret that way. Piper is here. She says, "Hey, yeah, Piper got into it." That's actually came across it that she was saying this is not a great way to promote your book to us. Is sort of tacitly accusing us of racism, and then us not backing it from then, using that as proof that we are. It's kind of like that thing, like you said, like, oh, the comments in this thread show exactly why this thread is so necessary, or something like that. That sort of thing.
So he did clarify himself, which changes the context, right?
Yeah, to a degree.
does.
I would say I would, if I was in that same situation, I don't think clarity would necessarily be needed as much as perhaps an apology. But yeah, I mean, he does try to.
And
He
then
says
we run
Facebook.
into this. We run into the problem of how you come off initially as opposed to how you intended to come off.
Yeah, and I know the guy. I have known him for a number of years. I know his political leanings. I would say that he actually has more in common with Comicsgate than any left-wing book kind of thing. But definitely a rough first impression
From him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, surely he can see that it did come across as, I know Piper must have felt that way, the way that she responded as well. He did sort of feel, it did feel like he came in swinging.
Piper took him to town.
This response to David Feed there shows that he's not, at the time he wrote this, not yet realizing how he has come across. He doesn't understand the difference yet as this progressed.
Yeah, so he says, David Feed says, "Dude, come on, get me hyped about your book. The idea that if I don't back your book, you hate diversity is a terrible way to sell books." That is correct. Obviously, this guy doesn't feel like he was doing that. He says, "Facebook says the Indiegogo crowd will not back a certain type of book. I don't believe that," and asked if it's true. Okay. Then you come at me and say, "I'm trying to sell my book to you by saying if you don't back me, you hate diversity. This is a bad look. I never remotely said that." Okay, well, now we're just getting into Twitter tit for tat, back and forth. That's all. Let's not even go there. It's just like no one can prove exactly what was in his mind.
It's one of those things where he might come back to it tomorrow, look at the initial one, and go, "Oh, now I see how it came off."
Yeah, I would actually say as well that he knows how it came off. I've chatted with him, and he's like, "Yeah, I totally get that. Maybe next book, I can come at it from a different angle." But I think I know the guy. He's not a bad guy, but he definitely got into the Twitter back and forth in this one.
So Comicsgate Drew has a question. If it's not Comicsgate, why would you want Comicsgate to back it? That's his question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this is where I think a lot of people in CG differ. We had someone up here, I think it was Todd's Truth, saying that, if it's a good book, you're not being a dick, I'll back it. If you come out and say you're CG or not, doesn't matter to me. And then other people will say, no, like I'm only going to back CG books. I'm never going to back a book that goes on Kickstarter or this and that. Like, I think there's a lot of disagreement in CG about that. But I don't think the disagreement is I'm not going to back a book because it's got black people in it. That's just so ridiculous. Yeah. Do you want to come on, Piper? If you're in the chat there, you can come on and maybe I'll send her the link.
Do you have it? I can send it to her too.
Well, I sent you the link. It's in the... That's how you got in here, if you want to send that to her.
Yeah. I'm just saying, awesome. If you have it up and ready to go, then you can send it. But if you're not...
I don't have it ready to go.
You're hosting, so I was helping out. Many hands make great work.
They do.
Yeah.
Mom, Dad, stop fighting. I'm going to cry.
Yeah, see, this is the way Drew is interpreting it. Mm-hmm. Sort of like a tacit FU. Why aren't you backing my book? And I think, we need to kind of look at the campaign. And like, this is the first I've heard of it. I shouldn't say that. I think I did see an image of it. Like, it doesn't look unfamiliar, but I can't picture where I saw it. So it's obviously not something that, there's been a months and months of building up, and like Stefani Renee is doing, a new guy, to me at least. He's building it up. He's done he's doing the signups and everything, and then when he launches, it's going to be a big bang.
Right.
I haven't seen anything of this. So if you haven't really done that, I think, like, say for instance, if it had have gone out and got goal in a couple of days, I don't think we'd be having this discussion, because they probably wouldn't have said anything. The fact that it's 3 days in and it's only raised $180 is probably an impetus as to why he's on Twitter asking what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I have no idea what the disconnect is because of, as you were just saying, that buildup. I do have two other things. I don't know if he realizes this or not, but there are people who still use both Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I know, Michael, you and I don't. We're both Indiegogo purists. I like the pink. I'm all for the pink. So he may look at his Indiegogo numbers and he's probably smart enough to realize this, but sometimes you forget until somebody says it. He may not realize that some of his would-be Indiegogo backers already backed it on Kickstarter, so that will reduce numbers. So his whole proof of concept that he wants is tainted.
I think his whole audience is from the Facebook Kickstarter crowd.
Look at this reveal, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Yeah. Did you see that?
That grew fast.
Avatar, real thing.
Somebody needs to move her
I'm
up.
still done up the way I was for the lady stream.
Oh, yes. Don't be sorry.
Hell,
I'm just moving you on up.
Look at that. Thank
There
you.
Great to have you.
Yeah, videos go to the top.
Awesome.
Even Ethan was down the bottom when he was on, because he was only an avatar. Yeah, so you're how I heard about this. Jason Black was saying, was it up here? Was it Jason Black or Antoine? Someone was saying we seem to be pretty 50-50 on this. Where this guy was coming from. I like the wig, by the way. That's
Thanks.
That's a cool look.
Piper always looks good.
Aw. Y'all are being way too nice. I'm gonna get a big head.
Uh-oh.
Critical says a serious hot dog salesman wants to sell hot dogs to everybody.
I'm afraid of
here's the
complimenting
problem.
you.
That when I genuinely thought that he was popping in trying to get more eyes on his book, then I was criticizing his attempt to get more eyes on his book. Then I started seeing some of his replies to other people, and I got the impression that that's not what he wants. He was bitching about how many backers he doesn't have on Indiegogo, and this and that. And when other people were giving advice, he was going, I wrote 2 books on writing comics and blah blah blah, and it was basically like, fuck you, don't tell me what to do or whatever. So I was like, no, it does not come off as an honest. Somebody on Facebook said this. No, it comes across as you coming in being a dick because you're upset that you're not doing that great on Indiegogo, and somebody said Comicsgate does.
Being in his Facebook on some of the feeds that he's done is a constant thing. It's not just that someone said, it's that everybody says, because Facebook is very
toxic, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's no more toxic than Twitter, but Twitter has more Comicsgate people on it. So there's a little bit, we have better people over here. But with Facebook, it's a constant thing. I mean, anytime I've gotten into battles with Mark Wade on Facebook, on his stream, actually, on his Facebook page. And, they swarm. The anti-Comicsgate people swarm over there, and they're always saying, if you do anything, don't do it with Comicsgate, don't go to Indiegogo, don't do any of these things. And so for him coming over...
Somebody should have told him, don't go over to Twitter and tag Comicsgate while insulting yourself.
Yeah, well, I said that to him too. I was just like, you kind of came in and said, hey, someone over on Facebook said you're a bunch of Nazis, and you won't buy my book because of it. You know, is that true that you're not going to buy my book? And it's like, you know, how did you expect that to go? You know?
Exactly. And the fact that he later goes and says he doesn't understand there's a disconnect in this and that. And I'm like, maybe it's because when other people are telling you what you said, you're throwing, instead of throwing links to your Indiegogo, you're throwing screenshots of the fact that you wrote books on writing comics.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with marketing the comic. It's great that, you know, you have all the experience writing comics, but if you can't not be an asshole to sell your comic, then it doesn't matter how awesome your comic is. You're going to turn people away.
Oh, there I am right there in the stream.
Yeah.
So I was trying to bridge, I don't know, some peace between you guys, but I didn't know you'd been going on like all afternoon there. So,
well, it was huge gaps in between responses, kind of. So it wasn't like we were arguing the whole time. We've only said like four tweets at each other, I think. Yeah. But it was spread throughout the day. But yeah.
And I didn't realize it had gotten so widespread with so many people as well. But I don't know. The project looks really good. I think it definitely holds up to merit. But if you can't sell yourself with Comicsgate, you're not going to be able to sell your book. And I mean, people who come over here thinking that they can just kind of step in and say, "Here, I put some ink on page. Do you want it?" I mean, they're not going to find a home.
It would have been better actually if he had just gone on Twitter and said, "Hey, I too have a comic on Indiegogo. You know, look at this." Especially if he wants to tag Comicsgate. Although he's tagging Comicsgate saying it's not a Comicsgate book, which usually screams anti-Comicsgate if you're going to go out of your way to say it's not. But
since he's not been around us much, does he realize how that's gonna what that's gonna look like? Probably not before he wrote it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he thought too, I think because everything kind of sells, especially with SJWs, everything sells on controversy. I think that he thought maybe being controversial.
That's the feeling that I got. Yeah,
he would get more eyes on it and get more people.
This tweet here is particularly makes me shake my head. You know, as someone who's trying to promote a book, I don't care who buys the book. Like that can be read in ways that you just don't want to be ambiguous like that. Because it's like it can come off as like, I just want everyone to buy my book. Well, just say that. You know, in the midst of this argument, you know, like, he's obviously taking the line. No, I was just wanting to know if this guy was right or wrong. Bandita, you're saying that you can't exist on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I don't have an account. But you can't exist on Facebook, apparently, without everyone just bombarding you saying, you know, Comicsgate is a hate group. So, I mean...
If you're getting into these discussions,
Yeah, because after like 2016, I shrunk my Facebook down to pretty much family only and friends that are local and nobody else anymore.
Michael, this your response to him to say, well, if instead of getting about him or the way he said it, if the issue is diversity, I don't know which diversity you mean, but here's a bunch of examples. That undercuts a lot of this confusion with I don't care who buys the book and what does he mean by that really well.
Yeah, I'll just go back to that. Where is the oh god. Here we go. This is what I said to him, Piper. I said, let's stop talking. I have grammar mistakes in all my tweets, so let's just push past that.
Oh no!
No.
I need a copy editor for my tweeting. Let's stop talking in code. By diverse, do you mean a book that centers on Black, Hispanic, or Asian characters? Perhaps, and here's where it goes wrong. Perhaps made by characters who are minorities.
You said
did I say characters again? Oh god!
No, it says creators.
I'm on my second wine.
Made by creators who are made by minorities.
Let's just move along. We all know what he means. But I'm sick of it because everything can be diverse.
Yeah.
anyway.
Now that you've
If
flitted
that's
it
what
out,
you mean. No, I mean, it's stupid. We let them take control of this word diverse as if that's what it means, as if the whole world is, based around the demographics of the US. It's not. We're on a global platform here. But anyway, we all do know what he means. So continuing with that, here, Heroes, Lair, Englewood, Escape or Die, Doc Salem, Ultimate Crusaders, Lost Pages, Terra Olympus, Brand. And some of these are massive. Brand is massive. Lost Pages, Doc, like a lot of it's just on the face of it ridiculous. But, whether or not he takes in the evidence.
How come we didn't put Peregrine up? It's got a diverse team working on that book.
Yeah, but I don't think it's diverse in the way that he wants it to be diverse. Like, I don't know. Are there any? Let's check Piper. What is the ratio? What's the skin color? This is all very, very important to us here in Comicsgate, don't you know? What are the shades?
Are we going to average skin color by total size, which renders then a skin color area that we? No, never mind.
Lord Crackhead points out. I mean, we do have a whole bunch of diversity, according to them. I feel icky saying that word like that because it's just such.
Yeah, you get put in a spot where you kind of have to just to go, no, they're lying about us.
Yeah.
Just because we don't just because that's not all we are, it doesn't define us as people. It doesn't mean that we aren't.
Yeah, and the problem with allowing them to control the narrative, to them to say, I heard CG is, doesn't like books with black people in it. And then we come back to them and say, look at all these creators, look at all these books. We're giving them control of the narrative. But if it's someone who's someone who's being genuine, who's coming to us, openly, with an open mind, they should take in that information and evidence and allow it to inform them going forward. But, a lot of the time, this will get thrown back in your face saying, oh, you're trotting out the token characters that you prop up, that you... Remember they said... Who said? Renfremer said, we let them in here. We let them be CG for this specific purpose.
Yeah, because, the KKK is full of diversity just to protect them from being criticized for being racist. Totally. That's how it works.
Jim Cox has it, I think. If we put up with Aussies and Canadians in CG, we aren't bigots.
There you go. You snuck in while you weren't looking. You don't even know that we're here.
Yeah, Antoine is saying it more eloquently than my wine-sodden self could. We lose because they're constantly keeping us on the back foot by challenging our morals with their sneaky subtexts.
Yeah, we're letting them define the conversation by creating the vocabulary. So that brings up a Crocodile's Tears comment that was from a bit ago. I didn't know if we'd get to it. And he, she, or it, I don't know, crocodiles, says, well, crocodiles are animals, so that's an it. What if some CGers use SJW tactics? Are they, the CGers then, SJWs? And that's an interesting thing. I would like to say, after looking at, hey, Luke Stone. Let's see. After looking at...
actually a great example of someone coming into Comicsgate and not trying to force a book down your throat and just kind of getting around talking to people. And I'm pretty sure he's got a project on the go as well.
Oh, yes. I have a link for it that I'll post in a minute. But as far as the SJW tactics, there is something that's grown up around SJW where it's really two things meeting at once. One, it's an agenda, but then it's a set of tactics that anybody can use. And they're normally based in something that you see that would be diagnosed as emotional instability and narcissism, and how people react to that. So these reaction methods that they use do not come from a healthy place, and then they are attached to a particular agenda that gives validation. It's the fourth form of narcissism is essentially virtue signaling. They call it community narcissism. So I finally found, there's not just 2 forms, there are 4 forms. That's great. We're growing. So,
As many forms as you can think of. Yes.
oh yeah.
That's where I feel bad because Smiling Bandito did try to like smooth it over between me and that guy, and I was just like, no, this is some narcissistic bullshit. I called him a narcissist. I was like, no, I don't do well.
Oh,
No, and
but
you know,
what I'm getting at is the question was, does this make CGers who use the same tactics as SJWs? Not exactly, but they should not be using those tactics because those tactics are illegitimate or even emotionally abusive.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was just like, even if I can vouch for this guy's politics, or I can consider him to be, has a good book out there and whatnot, when it comes down to it, if we want to be a stronger community and we want people to value backing the books from the creators that are around Comicsgate, then this is the kind of stuff that needs to be pointed out, right? When someone comes in and uses those tactics and that type of stuff, it's like, well, no, this isn't how we do things here, because we value the customers. It's not that the customers are valuable. So yeah, no, I think it's...
Well, they can be valuable. To me, CG is just customer first comic books. That's all it is. And whatever stems from that, I think that it's insulting to the customers to present them with token flat characters just to tick off quotas. I think that's an insult to the customers. There's a whole bunch of other things you can do. You can go out and insult them on Twitter. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. And this whole diversity, red herring stuff is, it's not the core of what we're at. The reason why we don't like this stuff is because it's insulting to the readers, to their intelligence and to their integrity and to who they are as a people. To say that, you're such a shallow person that the only thing you care about in your entertainment is the color of the skin or the gender or the orientation of the characters that you read. We value customers, so we want to give them a real story with real heroes or real emotions and real characters, and it all just stems from that. And all this stuff, it's just all right. Hey, I got something to show you. Look at this. You want progressiveness?
He's had 2 glasses of wine. We don't know
I ran across a great joke that I wrote today. It was 3 men stumble out of a bar speaking Australian.
Yeah,
that's the joke.
Yeah, that's the joke.
all right. Look at this. This guy is light-skinned. I don't know if he's white, but look at that. He is in a romantic relationship with a dark-skinned woman.
Oh my
And that
goodness.
is
they're
involution.
kissing and everything.
Dogs living together. Chaos.
I mean, hello. Can I get my diversity points yet? Please.
Is that a copy of Homer on that shelf there? Is
that what? Yes.
A copy of Homer?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so there you go. Fancy, take that. Hang on. What's going on here? There's controversy in the chat here. Maiden Hell says, I thought that was Liam. And then Drew says, no, he's the token ginger. Well, and there you go. You want diversity. We allow gingers into CG. Of all things.
See, he knows
he's certainly controlling her.
Yeah. He knows how to spot the truth.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at this campaign while we're talking about it. I want to see what the hype is all about. So it seems to me, I mean, just straight off the bat, visually, it looks like it's sort of inspired by those kind of blaxploitation 70s, kung fu movies.
Yep. Exactly.
And yeah, man, the art looks really good. Here's another problem with these people coming onto Indiegogo is maybe the guy Nick, is it? Nick Mack? Maybe has no problem with CG, but maybe his team does.
Yeah, that's actually a point that he brought up, is that he doesn't have a problem with CG and seems to agree with everything Comicsgate. But his team was afraid of the pushback from anti-CG if they were to associate with Comicsgate.
Well, I mean, not to toot our own horns, Piper, you're involved in a book. First book?
Yeah.
First book, yeah. What are you guys sitting on at the moment?
46 something. 46, 915.
From how many backers?
1036.
So more than 13.
Yeah.
More than 13, a few more than 13. And I mean, even let's be fair, let's go into Kickstarter. They do have 228 on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of begs the question, what are you worried about?
Yeah.
But
this is
they're not pulling in enough antis, at least, or whatever,
Yeah.
enough SJWs.
Need more antis. We were, as you talk about some of this stuff, not everybody is ready to be red pilled. Like, not everybody is in a position where they are wanting to go down the pipeline and see just, how far this goes. Because when you, on the surface.
That sounds a lot like my first prostate exam.
Oh dear. I wasn't ready for that either.
I haven't had enough wine for that yet.
Not everybody's ready to be red pilled, you were saying.
Yeah. But they want it. I mean, they want to be a part of this. When you look at the community, you look at the people that are around us. I've said it a bunch of times. This is probably the best people I've ever known in my entire life, as far as as a group of people goes. I got a few close friends that have been with me all my life, but I've never had this many amazing people be a part of one thing all at the same time. So, but you can't see that on the surface. It's impossible to see that on the surface, especially if you have Piper calling out your bullshit. So, it's
I just look, who with common sense would be like, man, I'm not getting much traction on Indiegogo. I know, I'll insult people
yeah
into checking out my book. That'll work. Come on.
All those guys that gave that team who'd never put out a book yet 40,000, or that other guy with the YouTube channel a couple of 100,000 on his first book, Raging Golden Eagle. Let's go and insult them. Maybe that'll
yeah. That'll that should draw.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that he assumed, like, when he was going back and forth with you, he assumed that you were just someone on Twitter, and when I saw the comments, I was just like, no, this is someone, like, you don't go against, you don't speak negatively towards anybody on Twitter when you're trying to sell something. First of all, you don't speak negatively towards people that are where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anyway, he's, he put out a good book. He's a writer. He's not a Twitter PR person. He didn't do the right thing here. I don't think it's a lost cause for him, but maybe he needs to be a part of a team that wants to jump into the deep end with Comicsgate, as opposed to kick around in the kiddie pool screaming at Nazis.
I invited Optimus in because he said I'm
going to need another drink.
Oh, look, hang on, very relevant to the discussion.
Hey,
Luke Stone, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Luke, great to see you.
Great to
talk to you.
Good to meet you.
Samurai, I'm loving that icon you've got going on there.
Yeah, didn't know you'd be here, and we mentioned your book at the beginning of the stream, so I thought I'd represent.
I appreciate it. Someone tagged me, and I was just watching and listening along, and yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, so awesome. You're kind of you have a relevant story to this, because you just sort of correct me if I'm wrong, you've kind of come out as CG very recently.
I did actually be a week ago. Well, it's technically where I'm at in the U.S. It's Sunday, so yeah, almost a full seven days. So
There you go, week-long CG, man. And have you been attacked?
oh my gosh, it's crazy. So I'm the exact same guy that I was just a little like a week ago today, right? And everyone like, everything was cool. And in the last 7 days, I have been blocked. I have been attacked. I have had, and instead of just trying to outright come and cancel me, they've gone around and tried to. They've talked to my editor, got him to back off. They've gone around to some of my other associates and tried to get their shows taken. They're like, hey, we're Comicsgate allies, and so like it's been nuts, man. Just trolls. It's like the crab bucket. We keep calling it the crab bucket. They just try to pull you in. They just try to pull you in.
Yeah, I mean, it's I never had that experience because I wasn't working with people. I wasn't involved. I was just sort of came out when no one cared, and I said, "Yeah, I'm CG." No one cared. No one was listening. But yeah, if you've already got teams and you've got a product and everything, I can totally see. I mean, we can see here what this guy's talking about. Like, let's hear it from you. Have you been involved in any cross burnings? Have you received a hood in the mail now that you have become CG?
Tough questions. Yeah.
Those are solid questions. No, I haven't actually.
No.
And here's the problem that's really throwing people off is because I have such a reputation of being kind of like not any of those things. Like there are people that have been just, they can't believe that I'm like, how can you be CG? I'm like, you don't understand. What I am is CG. Like there's a couple of loud and not so friendly people that really say some things that might be a little offensive. But for the majority of the people that I've been doing business with, they're all really kind, really professional, really generous, really inclusive, really diverse. And I just align with that. And so I wanted to go out. Someone asked me, Luke, why plant a flag anyway? And I said, because here's the thing. I'm CG. I'm a CG adjacent all this time. I am CG. Eventually it's going to happen. And so I would rather right now say, look, this is, especially with all the lies about what CG is right now. Like, I want to say this is what Comicsgate is. And I also want to give everyone that is kind of closeted Comicsgate a little encouragement that, look, what you're going to gain from the community and from the networks is going to be a whole lot more than what you'll lose from the little crabs that really don't do much for you at all.
But you, Luke.
Yeah.
Luke, hi, Optimus. Hi.
Hey, Optimus, how's it going, man?
You're barely coming in.
I want to point out that, but they would pay you in exposure. That's all you need.
Well, you make a really good point.
Exposure. You don't need money. You need exposure.
Well, it turns out my car runs on exposure. My kids eat exposure, and you know what? The mortgage they actually ask for exposure, so it works out just fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't even getting that Optimus. I wasn't even getting exposure. So yeah, I came to CG and got both exposure and money.
And a drinking habit.
And I know I never drank. I never drank before I started this. Optimus, how's it going, mate?
I'm doing good. Doing. It's Saturday night, Sunday morning kind of thing,
Yep.
Noticing that my co-host, ever since she became blonde, she's been playing with her hair more.
Well, yeah, this is the longest wig too.
Yeah, but I just
so
noticed
like,
that while watching Ladies Night and stuff, you were just constantly like messing with it. It's like I got this long, pretty blonde hair, so I just gotta keep messing.
Well, it is like these are kind of pricey, but it's real hair, so it's really, really cool. It's not uncomfortable like my cosplay wigs. These are comfy, and it's real hair, so I can do like real hair shit to them.
I have this feeling I'm going to get like messages because you messaged me about the the wig that basically what the chat owed you.
Yeah.
You shaved. I'm just suspecting a message anytime, and it's going to become that Bernie meme. Where Or the dick flattening meme, you know, it's
Oh,
gonna be like,
no.
"Hey, Optipops, I need a new wig." Yes, Piper. I'm gonna just have to keep, gotta keep the show going so she get more wigs.
I don't think I read out Doomsday Kingdom Army super chat for $5. Thank you so much, man. He says, "Enjoy your streams, bud. Good stuff." And then he gives you one of these bad boys.
Good job.
Thank you very much, man. Optimus, you said you saw some red flags in the campaign. That's what I was thinking as well.
Throw it
You
up,
know,
if you can.
Oh shit! I just kicked over my wine bottle. Lucky it was.
See,
oh,
but
Lord,
his
covered.
behavior, I didn't even bother looking at his campaign
Well, yeah,
because
I
of his
noticed
behavior. I was like, I immediately lost interest with this first tweet.
I mean, I can pull it up so that way I can.
So-
No, I've got it up.
Okay.
I think I was one of the first people to respond to him, and I was trying to like be really nice about it. You know, I was like, "Yeah, well, cool." And then like someone else said, "Hey, make sure you, tell us what it's about."
Mhm.
And it was when he come back with that, well, as soon as he started posturing, as soon as he started to be like, puffing out his chest, I'm working with a guy like that right now, and I can't stand it. In fact, people ask me, what did that guy do to send you to CG? And that really, it's been that working relationship that's kind of sent me over.
I was going to ask, because I saw Piper talking to the guy. Piper, did you, when he was puffing his chest and talking about like, I've got books about writing scripts and comics, and you didn't throw it in his face, did you? You didn't pull the girls out on him, did you?
No.
That I'm really surprised because I would have.
The thing was, he was doing that to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was just, I don't need marketing advice. You're rude.
Oh.
And I was like, okay,
Don't you know
whatever.
who I am?
I
But here's
do
the
have
thing.
marketing.
Maybe he does know
Experience.
marketing
Don't you
advice.
know who I am?
I'm the
Yeah,
different
he
boy.
did. He was doing that to other people. Don't you know who I am? And what was weird for me was that people were trying to show interest, and he wouldn't post his Indiegogo link. He would post links to books he's written about writing comics. And I'm like, that's not what they're asking for. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They want
Yeah,
to see the
that's the
book
thing.
that you're posturing about, not
That's-
your other books.
Okay,
That's the thing. I think a lot of these people are learning. Sorry, Thomas. A lot of these people are learning. That having a name and doing things previously, it's not going to mean shit unless you follow the path that has been shown to work, which is all the promotion and getting yourself out there and meeting people who back crowdfunding books on Indiegogo.
Well, I was going to say, just
rule
sticking
number
a
one.
campaign on Indiegogo and then going around saying, I am a professional writer. Why is nobody buying my book? Must be because it's diverse. That's
Well, rule number
Stupid.
one is know your audience.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
the whole
Okay.
like it's because it's diverse, no one wants it. Okay, I'm not trying to plug my stuff, and that's the one thing I tried to be very specific about not doing when I came to CG was trying to sell my stuff. I didn't want anyone to think that I was one of those like I'm short term. I'm coming in here to sell a book and then I'm gone. That's not me. But my book is diverse. Like it's got many characters in it, and already before I even came over, I found out about 25% of my fan base was already CG. So it's like they were the most active, the most supportive of all of my fans, and I'm like, well, I want more like that. So, but they like diverse comics. They love diverse characters. I love diverse characters. It's not that. It's just because he's done a really crappy job of promoting this Indiegogo. Just because you make an Indiegogo, a comic book on Indiegogo, doesn't mean that somebody's going to find it and like it. It's the same principle for Kickstarter. You've got to push. We just finished a Kickstarter. We had 278 backers on it, and that is the best that I've ever seen happen on any one of those things. And it took. I mean, it was a 30 days of constant hustle from three of us to get that. It doesn't happen just because you put it up.
Yeah, exactly. And the other side of it too is Comicsgate isn't just a market, it's a community. And when you come in here treating it like a market, I mean, it's such a disservice to everybody that's here.
Very
Everyone they're refugees from the mainstream. They're battered, bruised, and contused. Refugees from the mainstream market. And when you come in here saying, hey, I just want to sell a thing to you, it's like, well, we've had that pitch. We've had that for like the last 30 years. To tell us something new.
Yeah.
That doesn't involve us being a Nazi.
Okay. But yeah, here's the thing is, I'm seeing so many. You know what? Let me do this the right way. Hold on 1 second.
Do it the right way.
Here we go. All right.
In case anyone can't see here.
All right. So
Oh,
here's the problem with this campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, there's a flexible goal. Don't do that. It makes people think you're not serious about the comic. Okay.
Hang on. They've already had it funded on Kickstarter.
I don't care about Kickstarter. Fuck Kickstarter.
Why is the flexible
That
goal
doesn't-
3,000?
who cares? But Michael, we're not worried about Kickstarter. Okay.
Okay.
They've specifically said they're doing this campaign so they expand the book. Right? Isn't that what they
All right.
said? Wasn't that
Okay.
the purpose? Well,
All
there
right,
you go. So right off the bat, flexible goal? No. I guarantee you, somewhere in the verbiage of that of their thing, it says something. Let me stop the mailing thing; it's gonna get annoying. Eventually, you're gonna find somewhere in there. Well, if we don't make goal, we're gonna still produce this book and this, that, and the other. I guarantee it. That's what's gonna happen. And what am I seeing? Also, a bunch of donation links, guys. It's Indiegogo. You can donate. You don't have to put a tier for $1.
Oh my goodness.
You don't have to do that.
$1, $5, $8. Oh, that is, and digital. Like, oh
Yeah, digital, comics. I mean, I don't know. I have a love-hate with digital. I get why people like it, and I get why people would want it. But
how many pages is it? That's only $16.
I think it's in the 30s.
Oh yeah, I think it was like 32 pages or something.
Okay.
yeah, that page count's not up there.
So
yeah, there's no
$20.
page count neither. So this is already a disappointment. I bet did they even have a trailer? Because if they don't talk during the trailer, we're looking at like at least 65 score. We're already looking at a D. Okay.
The lower page count is okay if the price starts to reflect it.
Yeah. What's their top tier?
What's their feature
So they've
tier?
got floppy, 2 mini plus full digital.
Okay.
34. What is that? Okay, so scroll down to what's the most expensive thing.
The most expensive thing is.
Are you working?
And that's a lot of perks.
What?
Click
What's
on that.
Wow.
Click on that.
Producer.
Read it.
You've done the recon. Let's roll. You know this series is going to be huge. Why not join the party? You want to float a chunk of the bill to get your producer credit and an active vote in the creative direction of this series? There's a long, fun road ahead for anyone who loves the material as much as us. Don our colors and help us rule the streets. So this is not a product. You just join the team.
You don't get anything.
Wait. Why is it you helping them fund the product as a producer is $5,000, but the goal is $3,000?
And every single backer is helping you fund
Yeah.
projects.
In a sense,
Yeah, this-
every backer is a producer.
Yeah,
Man. Oh.
yeah.
Comics with Drew. Okay,
I'm sort of
Yeah.
in
So
shock
if
with
if he wants to know why it's not doing well, it's because he needs somebody else to do his
Well, he's
entire.
not in charge of the. He's not in charge of this. Nick isn't in charge of this. However, everybody should have had a hand in making sure that didn't happen.
Well, maybe if they
Yeah.
would have given them $5,000, they could have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had a rule when we did Peregrine. I think we all said every tier is going to at least have a book in it.
Yeah.
I mean, even the the original. We don't have many original art. The only thing I had was the Preston sketch. That comes with a book. The painting, if it ever gets sold, comes with a book. Everything is going to have a product. This is just.
And at least a book is going to be one of those, because that's what you're helping us make is that book. Don't you want the book that you're helping get made?
I'm sure the producer would end up getting a book in the end. I'm sure that there wouldn't be a.
I was going to say, I'm sure that they didn't think to put it,
Yeah.
but $5,000 for a status.
That's
Yeah.
vanity. That's just a vanity.
This is like in what are those shows where you go and you stand in front of a group of investors and you give your pitch, and then they just look at you like, are you out of your American Mind.
Yeah.
And I
Shark
still want
Tank,
to know
yeah.
why producer is 5,000, but because they need to get that book done, but it's a 3,000 flexible goal to get that book done.
Yeah, Red. I was going to say Red Gaze had made a good point there.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I've never seen this before, especially not $5,000. But yeah, a lot of books you will, you can pay for different sort of naming things and stuff like that. But
It doesn't even promise that your
a
name
team
gets in
member.
there. It doesn't even promise that your name will be in there.
Well, I mean, to me, it sounds like I'm coming onto the team, and I'm going to be sharing in future profits, and we'll be signing contracts, and that's an unusual one. Look, I mean, it's just you're right. There are red flags on this campaign page that
And apparently you can, but if you real quick scroll back down real quick to that one, apparently you can only join the 10 in October of 2020. So you gotta wait 2 months before you.
Oh my goodness!
So I mean, first off, he could have come to someone who's been successful in Indiegogo and said, we're new to this platform. Have you got any advice for us on our campaign? Rather than saying, "Oh, what's going on? Is it because you're all racists?" Because the Indiegogo has its own.
I love the whole. I will. I heard on Facebook that you will not back books because of diversity. I'm like,
that Comicsgate, like tagging Comicsgate, that Comicsgate won't back this because diversity. Like, that is not how you sell a book.
Man,
Prove to me that you are decent people by giving me your money.
Exactly. That's
Not
what
only-
it screams.
See, now
Not
there are
only
other
are we
people-
decent people, but give that a refresh for a second.
Yeah, it's working. The controversy just got them another backer.
And that's because of us. We should claim that as.
I always claim it. Yeah,
I would
any
be. I would
backer on any.
I would bet
thing that I
$100
look
to a
at.
donut somebody from this chat backed it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I like the art, and I know Kanan White has contributed something to it. I'm not sure exactly what he has, but Kanan White's doing a cover for me, and I love his work. Like, I've always loved his work, and so I'm like, I'll back it for the digital just to get a look at Kanan's work.
Yeah, that's the thing. The art looks good. It looks like a good book. I haven't read through, the synopsis or anything, but I mean, the art is definitely up to snuff. So it's the way that they've gone about, I guess, announcing it to the greatest CG crowd, at least on Twitter. It's not the best.
I would also say this though, that so I've run a lot of Kickstarters, and one of the things that I know about the kind of the layout of the campaign, like for at least that works for Kickstarter, they didn't even copy that into their Indiegogo. And I've got this Indiegogo going, but I'm asking everyone that is used to that platform, what do I need to do to make sure it's successful? And it just seems like he's just too proud or too arrogant, or I don't know. If he wrote the book on it, if he literally says he wrote the book on it, if he wrote the book on it, then he would know that you need to do some research with that and ask some people that are successful. Find the people that are doing what you want to do and the way you want to do it, and link up with them and find out how to grow.
Yeah, that's what we all do. Do. I went to people. People also, very graciously came to me and said, if you need any advice or anything, or need any help, and that's what they did. And then people have come to me since I launched and asked me to look over their campaigns. We're here to help people who want to succeed on Indiegogo, and it is different.
Like a really cool book that I would be into. It's just the campaign looks like crap. And when you introduce the book with, hey, Comicsgate won't back this book because it's diverse, then
Yeah, I'm good. It's funny.
Why am I doing bad on Indiegogo? Is it because Comicsgate?
I hate diversity. I'm holding my copy of Inglewood with the black protagonist in it. I really hate diversity.
What he got really shy about was our and of course this got thrown at him, I think, in the midst of the Twitter war. But they think some people come in, they just want Comicsgate money, but they hold no Comicsgate values, and they're just trying to sneak in or whatever. Okay, this guy made a big blunder today. That's one category. But we're not being taken advantage of if people have good product. So I stopped being a little bit suspicious of, you just want Comicsgate money, but if you're not out there calling me a Nazi and you're actually putting out a good product, I get to be okay with that at some point. Like I can't tell the difference because you're not obnoxious about it.
No,
Never, Jim Cox. My scroll is there to make you vomit.
So how much did he make on the Kickstarter, if I may?
About 6,500, I think, from
Okay.
memory. So that's what we were saying before you came in, Optimus. This whole, I don't know if I can associate with you guys. I don't want to, shut myself out from the community and the scene and blah, 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 blah.
But I seem to remember he said something about they did the Indiegogo because they wanted to expand it.
Yeah, and I don't really have any sympathy for that. I don't want to alienate that group because I literally just yesterday morning now, that campaign that I was a part of, that I'm part of the creative team, it ended this morning, and there's 278 backers, and we made nearly $6,000, and I came out Comicsgate, and I run the risk of losing all of that. I understand that I do. But the point is, these people don't understand that there's so much more to be gained by the community, by the network, and the money is kind of like the fourth or fifth thing down on the list. There's so much more to be had by aligning yourself. If you are in line with the values of Comicsgate, make the leap and just do it. Stop playing around and stop being afraid of what the SJWs are going to do to you, because really, quite honestly, they can't do much. Those people don't have money running around in the circle. They're not really supporting each other. I've said it on some other things where it's kind of this they're just patting each other on the back. It's the same money going back and forth here. They brag about how much money they've spent on everybody else's campaigns so that they will spend that much money on their campaign. They guilt people into supporting them. They guilt people into backing them, and then they're just it's not really fans. It's not real readers. It's not real supporters. It's just creators and kind of this. I'm trying to watch how I put it, so I don't want to be so crude. But
you're in CG now. You can be crude.
Lay it out. Bangkok's drunk, so he won't.
Yeah. I've got that red wine sort of warmth washing over me right now.
It's just unpleasant. They're sitting in a circle and they're doing things that are just you know what I mean.
When you say, Luke, that you have CG values, what does that mean to you?
It's the five pillars. It really is. It's like, I want to see good stories. If your politics needs to go into the story because it furthers in, it progresses the story and the art form should be the first thing that takes precedence. And everything about the characters, everything about the art form should be to serve the story and not to serve an agenda. I think that, you should work with people based on their merit and not on who or what is between their legs. I don't care. My value is, my motto is, I don't care who or what's between your legs. If you're talented, I'm going to work with you. And I think, that's it. And by all means, let's really care about the fans. Let's listen to them. Let's be kind to them. Look, I can't make any comics unless people buy my comics. It just can't happen. If people aren't supporting me, I can't do this. They are a huge part of what I do. Respect that, value that,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Done.
And not according to Marvel, though. You can make a book there and nobody buys it. That's fine.
Yeah,
just make the book.
This is where I think the antis and the SJWs get it wrong. When we say, we're coming at it, like I said earlier, fan first, customers first, is because I want to respect the customer and their political choices. So they'll say, CG is right wing. It's alt. They'll even say it's alt right. Because I'm not going to take a shit on a customer because they don't align with me politically. But they say, no, well, they kind of they want to actually, attack creators and fans for voting for the quote unquote wrong people. And that's where I can't get on board that at all. Brian Kriskow says for $2, much welcome to CG, Luke. Much love to y'all. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
What was I going to say? Oh, but you got to remember, guys, we found out today that boobs are now political.
Oh yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Oy.
Yeah,
That was
boobs
on-
are now political.
Before I
was
dump
that?
out a few thoughts, Piper, you've been quiet for a bit and you're not muted. Did you have anything you want to say before I kind of monopolize a little?
Yeah, I was gonna say to Smiley and Bandito, but I don't know if he's there right now.
Oh, I'm here. It's all good.
Oh, you're here. Okay, because you say you know the dude that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And my best advice, he might listen to you more than other people, is for one, unfortunately, his Indiegogo campaign does have 1 million red flags.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also say, he doesn't have to be Comicsgate. But if he comes back on Twitter and is just like, I fucked up, do over.
Yeah.
And actually, he just needs to lose the ego and listen to people. If he wants customers, listen to what they want and what he needs to do to get their money.
Yeah. Well,
Because guilting them is not going to get their money.
Yeah, I said that to him as well. I was just like, hey, man, this is how this kind of thing would play off with people who are gathered together because they were called, all kinds of horrible names and ists and phobes. And if you start coming in saying, I think he was trying to play it off as like a spite campaign. He's like, in order to fight these people, you guys will want to back my book. And
unfortunately,
he said it the entire
botched it.
wrong way. Yeah.
And I was just like, we don't do spite campaigns unless we're invested in the creators.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just not a way to.
For this size, a spite campaign has to be two things. Like one, like you said, invest in the creator, and two, it would be funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like when John Malin did a spite to get ahead of Smiller for the year.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny. All right, I'm
in the
in on
opposite.
this.
Yeah, him being kind of unknown to everybody, he can't open with that. But I also know that everybody is, nice, normal people. And even though I told him how I really felt, if he came back and was just like, okay, I went about this the wrong way, and is willing to listen.
Yeah.
To what people, say to him instead of responding with, I wrote the book on writing books. Like,
I will say this.
His comic looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's look good. Yeah.
He just needs to learn how to sell it. So if he came back, I'd be like, all right, fam, well, if you listen now, I'll tell you what I learned.
Yeah. And the key, with, if he'd have said, it's all about it's verbiage, right? If he'd have come in and said, guys, I got people on Facebook telling me that, Comicsgate doesn't like diversity. I don't know what's going on. Just straight up be like, I'm throwing my hands up. I don't know what's going on. What's up, fans? What's the deal? And then I think he would have had a much better reaction.
Yeah. He could have come in and said just about anything else and would have had a better reaction.
Yeah.
It's also time. It's also time.
Check out my great book.
We've been having to defend ourselves. They're going hardcore over the whisper campaign. I think is what triggered a lot of it. Of trying to explain to people, what we actually are.
Well, and that's the thing.
Him coming in it with that, it was just, it's worded bad. He's words on screen. He's unknown name to most of us as words on a screen at the worst possible time right now.
Well, not only that, Comicsgate doesn't need anybody. They don't need new creators coming in. They don't need new personalities, new IPs or anything like that. Comicsgate is welcoming to people coming in, but it doesn't need anybody. So when you put the onus on us to be like, we should be thinking of you in some sort of appraisal, we don't need that. If you think that we need to validate you you're kind of in the wrong place, you know? So
My experience has been that Comicsgate doesn't need me, but they want me. And it's felt really good. And to kind of speak to the idea of a spite campaign, as a creator, I don't want you to support me because to spite someone else. I want you to support me because you like my work. That's what I want.
Cheap Trick just started in my head singing, "I want you to want me."
yeah.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah, that's why
Usually-
the
whenever
spite
the spite-
campaigns.
Okay, everyone talk now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, usually the spite campaigns are
I heard that part.
We're really good at this. Practiced that before.
I'm going to start muting all of you. No. Usually the spite campaigns, Luke, is when something's already successful and then there's some sort of an attack or like the thing that we do here, it's become a bit of a meme, is defeat the evil. And it's not, sometimes it actually is like we mean it, but a lot of the times it's not. Like, you know, you can, like we're saying, Ethan is defeating his own evil by beating his first campaign. You know, it's just become a kind of a meme, a turn of phrase now.
To give an example is
As
you know,
opposed
we
to
did
actual spite.
we have a stretch goal that was beat deadbeats on Peregrine, right? And it started out as we just like to beat this because it's Ren, and you know Piper's had issues with Ren, and
I was gonna say I'm the one that put that on there because
it would go with
she
joke.
had been on me before this campaign existed.
And we used it. We also said you will upgrade quality of the book and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You know? We used, there is a purpose for it, but you know, it was still like, hey, kind of a motivational thing. And then the whole like, you know, Piper will shave her head thing happened. I was like, yes, we spited Ren by Piper shaving her head. That's exactly what we did. Like,
I sure showed her.
you showed her by shaving your head.
I showed her by rocking wigs way better than her.
Yeah,
That's just true too.
Well, you know, all of that makes sense. All of that makes sense, but to try to come into a community by trying to create a spite thing, that just
That's
doesn't.
right.
exactly.
Yeah, that ain't gonna
Yeah,
fly.
like I said, within us, you know, like you know, people like, you know, we've been around me and let me put it this way. People like me and Piper, you know, with Graded and everything, at least was it 2018 we started the show, but we've been Comicscape way before that, right?
Yeah.
So
I was Comicscape before the second I got booted from a website I used to write for not appreciating female Thor and thinking it was a load of shit.
yeah. So so the whole thing, you know, the whole deal was just like, you know, we're here, you know, and like you said, when it comes to like things like when you hear us say spite and things like that, those are like almost in jokes in the community, you know, like
I've noticed.
Exactly.
I
Coming
noticed
from the
there's a joke that
outside
no one's
going,
getting.
oh,
I said I've noticed that I've started to understand the joke that no one else is getting, and that's why I was like, wait a second, these are all jokes. Like it's what Ethan does, like he's laughing. There's a joke here that no one else is getting, and the hail thing, like that's like it's mockery, you know, of kind of that side. I mean, even the name Comicsgate, they gave it to the fans to begin with. You know, to kind of insult them, and they're like, yeah, screw that. It's almost like the Trump supporters when it was like, hey, deplorables, like, yeah, deplorable.
yeah, and they're like, fine, screw it, I'm deplorable then, whatever.
owning it kind of thing.
If you can't watch Comics Artist Pro Secret stream and see that Ethan is, you know, hamming it up, playing a character, being a, like, you know, when he talked to was it Vicky, and he came out with the top hat and the cravat and everything, and you know, like, this is all fun. Like, we're having fun. The more fun we have, the more money we make. We're all deadly serious. At least the creators are all deadly serious about making our books. And as fans, you know, I've put in thousands of dollars into CG books now, and I plan on continuing, you know, for as long as I can. You know, so there is that serious element to it. But the reason is that we succeed is because we're having fun over here, and I think there's a lot of people out there who purposefully want to interpret everything literally and in the worst possible light, and you know, take these words like spite campaign and the hailing and the blah, and you know, like, try and make something out of it that it isn't. And we're not going to back away from that and, you know, say, oh, this isn't good optics. No, we're going to lean into it, double and triple down on it to, you know, give them the finger right back at them.
I don't know where to bring this up, so I'm just going to jump in,
Blake.
Slight subject change. So we've been talking about how the I don't want to say the word because there's a drinking game going on in the chat. So if we see that word that starts with
What word?
it starts with the C and ends with pain. So
Is that the word?
oh, everybody drink.
Is that the
Anyway,
word?
we're gonna have
Campaign.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Sorry.
dead customers
Are you
soon.
going to say campaign?
So
Is that the word?
Oh, goodness.
No.
Okay.
if we look, we've been talking about the guy who's on Twitter and the campaign and how it's set up really not in the way that Comicsgate receives, or nor good for Indiegogo in particular. But those are two different people. The guy running the campaign is with his name on it is not the guy who is on Twitter. So let's just remember that. And then my next thought was one of the thoughts I actually walked in the door with here tonight was when Bandito showed me this tweet right before the show went on about 30 minutes earlier, and I knew nothing of the thread or the controversy, just the tweet. One of the because I'd already looked at the sales page on Indiegogo myself, one of the reactions we can have to that, and I've had before with people, is, well, I don't know about this guy. I'll just sort of wait and see. And then if they turn out to be more of a jerk, it will turn me off. And if everything's just kind of neutral, then I'll, if I choose to get the book, it'll be on its own merits. So it's sort of like the person can create a negative, but the book is what gets me to actually buy it, not necessarily for the person. So as boring as that has been, what's it, Bendito? Did I hear you chirp?
Yeah. And the thing about all of that is that for the creators, it's not about trying to convince backers to back your project because of your reasons. You got to let people come to you for their reasons. So whether that is spite, whether it's because of the book, whether it's because they are invested in you, whatever those reasons are, that's what has to be valuable to the backers. And that's what I think a lot of creators, especially outside of Comicsgate, end up missing, is that it's not about me trying to shill a book to you. It's about you having something that justifies you wanting the book from me.
Mm-hmm. And now, getting into that, you guys know that I do reviews and that I review only books that I appreciate and like and whatnot. I'm way behind on my reviews, though. So I want to bring up an example, though, of us having fun inside Comicsgate. That's why I'm not selling anything, is I'm not a fun person. But if you just get to know me, it's bad. How do I say this? I don't want to be sycophantic or anything, but or antagonistic. Luke and I are both Christians, and I'm almost trained as a pastor. Luke is trained as a pastor, did go to whatever seminary, I don't know. And I already know from a year ago, whenever it was that I first looked him up, he and I disagree severely on some probably irrelevant things in theology. Okay, so we have variety here. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce that correctly. Somebody brought up in the chat a while ago that Comicsgate has variety of thought, not just variety of skin color and other such things. Now, to the example of Luke compared to me, we have variety between us, even both as Christians. And that's why Comicsgate is able to have fun internally, is we allow for and accept each other, to a certain degree. We're not allowing axe murderers to run around the convention next year, but whatever. And so Luke's book it does have a Christian twinge to it. There are a couple, it's part of a couple of characters, and he's not overbearing in the book. It's not this cringe evangelical stuff that's normal for evangelical products, is they're very cringy. No, Luke did this right. He's strong on characterization. The Christian influence is just part of a few characters. It shows up here and there. It is not a big deal to a non-Christian reader. Just the way I read it, I don't think it would be at all. And we can allow for that. And I'm different from him. We don't have to be duplicates of each other. And I think he writes a very entertaining, fun book. So there's that, just as a big example. So,
how boring would we be if we were all alike and thought the same? I enjoy talking with people that think differently than me, because maybe you have thought through something that I haven't, and you can teach me. We have to remain teachable. And I think that's, I think the diversity of thought is as important as the diversity of viewpoint. I like to work with people that don't look and sound like me.
I was thinking the same thing. No.
Well, what do you think about this? Why do
I'm
all
sorry
the women
cut you off there.
This is the
have
one.
huge tits and little clothes? Why is the bad neighborhood in Cyberfrog expressed by showing menacing black and brown people? Why are the Richard Meyer books all about righteous white ex-military guys? Political agendas, bro.
Bro, don't you know?
Bro.
Yeah. Boobs are political agenda now.
So the women in my comics are busty, and
Yay.
so I am a pastor. Okay, I am a pastor, and my congregation knows that I draw a comic, and they know that it's not Christian, and some of them buy my comic, believe it or not. And one of the older matriarchs of our congregation, she came up and she was like, "You like to draw them women busty, don't you?" And I just kind of smiled. She goes, "Well, you do have the example from home, because my wife is rather busty." And I'm like, yeah, I just draw what I know.
I just typed in boobs political to find that tweet, by the way.
I love the fact that you did that, and the first thing you see is Joe Biden.
I know, I had it, and then Twitter was like, no, you're getting Biden now.
Guys, you got to know that you got to, if you want the comic books, you got to have the boobs.
They got the comic books, and then I have corn pop will come over with the boobs and the boobs.
And the record players, you got to let the kids read words.
There you go. It's disappeared now. Oh, well, there you go. That's gone. It won't even let me. I hate Twitter's search. Look at that. It doesn't let me do anything. Anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, but
Pretty
that whole
groggy.
thing was like, and of course, like I said, I was like, why do we keep being brought into these things now? What's going on? It's like the last 3 weeks, it's like something. It's like, I don't know what it is. Like first it was Ren who's saying like, I'm gonna contact their colorist and and make her stop for exposure. And then the next week it was like, then there's this Wonder Woman thing, but look at this Comicsgate chick, and I was like, and now it's like boobs are evil. Like
There's no end
Boobs
to
are
it.
political.
boobs are political and they're also evil, I guess. I don't know.
I'm finding any hill to die on.
I had
Yeah.
someone literally say that Comicsgate tried to cancel him over that Wonder Woman cover. I said, no one tried to cancel anyone. We complained as consumers.
Yeah.
We made fun of it for the most
Yeah.
And
part.
said this is the reason you're not making money. No, there wasn't about
There's a difference between getting fouled out of the game and Michael Jordan dunking on you.
Yeah,
You know what I
there's
mean?
a big difference.
It's like
yeah.
if you get fouled out of the game, you're out of the game. You're gone. You can't come back.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan just dunked on you. Well, no, you're not out of the game. You just got embarrassed.
Yeah, DC didn't have layoffs this week because of the cover 2 weeks ago. The 2 weeks
I wouldn't
ago,
be embarrassed if Michael Jordan dunked on me. That would kind of be like I hope to get it on film.
There's one thing that somebody said. How do you think the guys feel? When there's a Michael Jordan poster and they're the guys getting dunked on in the poster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. It's like and I say I always use the term dunk because that's what I do. I was like people can make all the art they want. People can criticize any piece of art they want. It's like in this day and age you will get dunked on. And people need to find the delineating line that dunking does not mean you're getting canceled. It just means that people didn't like it and they made fun of it.
Yeah, they just can't handle the criticism. And any time we offer criticism, it's met with, well, you're this. It's possible for you to have made something bad and I not like it. If you make something good, I will like it. But they made something bad and I don't. And just because you made something bad, I don't like to get called a bigot, a sexist, all of those things. All the stuff they throw at you. It's like, boom, you're a Nazi.
I mean, the biggest thing is like I would turn it around, especially that Wonder Woman thing. They like to do with the busty women with a small waist. They'll say like, "Where are her organs?" And I was like, "How many organs does this one have?" Because, oh my,
Extra organs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I made that. I said I'm going to start doing that joke anytime somebody does a "Where are her organs?" I'm going to find their picture.
You threw Optimus off there for a second. You heard that, didn't you? Like he stammered.
What are you talking about? What happened?
I mean,
What's going on?
The Preston Acevedo special.
Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
I mean, just keep going. You guys are saying some good stuff.
I will say this. I just saw in the chat, just saw about Andy Corey complimented it. Andy Corey complimented it. 2 days later, he was fired. I'm just saying.
Oh, what?
What did Andy Corey compliment?
The Wonder Woman cover. He was like, "I'm an editor at DC, and I just want to say it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good." And then like 2 days later, he's fired. So it's like,
Oh, it's so good.
I
You can't
hadn't
write that.
seen I hadn't seen these pages in so long. I'm going to share these. I forgot how bad this is. This is sort of like there's no how could a movement not spring out of whatever this was.
Yeah.
Mm.
So this
yeah.
this dude, Thor, are you kidding me? I'm supposed to call you Thor? Damn feminists are ruining everything.
So
You
great.
want to be a chick superhero? Fine. Who the hell cares? But get your own identity. Thor's a
I mean,
dude.
that's true.
One of the last manly dudes left. What did you do? Send him to sensitivity training so he'd stop calling Earth girls wenches? Well, this is what they do. You know, they put the words of their critics
There
into
is
the
not
villains.
from actual historical point of view of the character, there is not a chance in hell that Crusher Creel, aka Absorbing Man, would be complimenting Thor.
No,
He'd be
would-
wanting to kick Thor's
Yeah.
ass.
fuck about who he's fighting. He
Yeah.
wouldn't. He would be like, yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to
This is what got me booted off of writing for that one website.
all agenda. This is 100% agenda. So it doesn't just forget any of the characters, any of the continuity, any of the canon. We need to say this message right now. They need to dunk on their critics, so they're going to put the words of their critics into the voice of the villain. But this next page is, I mean, this is a just unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Girls got to be friends.
I ain't fighting no woman Thor, and neither is he. And she throws it down. Not today, at least. I'm standing down out of respect for what
What's
you're
happening
doing.
with her diaper butt there? Oh my goodness.
That's weird, man. Forget
Yeah.
the art. Yeah, can't have been easy for you. Hasn't been easy for me either. And her answer is, "Do not think this means I will allow you to flee." Is that Jane Foster?
yeah.
it's supposed to be,
Why is she talking like a?
right?
Yeah, because
Like an
don't you know
ancient-
that when you pick up Thor's hammer, you start talking with Asgardian Nordic accent?
That's appropriation.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when you go to Ireland and you start drinking and you come out speaking Irish.
I mean, this is madness. This is sheer madness. And, you know, they always ask, like, where's the agenda? What agenda? It's anyway, continuing. I'm not asking you to. A little prison time will actually be good for me and Crusher. When we've been out too long, he starts to get a wandering eye. But just so you know, this is a one-time girl power pass. Next
Just
time
the fact,
you get
the
in my
idea
way,
that Crusher doesn't go around womanizing, like,
Yeah,
so
yeah, there's that as
he's
well.
got
There's
some
so many
virtue.
layers
You
to
know,
this.
he's a complete jerk. He's gonna rob everybody blind, but he's monogamous.
yeah.
Well, considering
He's
that
getting the Gillette treatment right
Well,
now.
considering he's with the
Whoa,
only
whoa,
one of
dude.
the few women who could actually kick his ass.
Yeah,
Titania is not a pushover, you know. So
Uh,
it's kind of funny that
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
rip off your head and toss it in the Hudson. Very well. And just so you know, I'm going to hit you now rather hard. Like that whole we're gonna do some punching. We all love a bit of punching and kicking. They don't take
the next
any of this
panel is her-
seriously.
the next panel is her like clocking her with
Yeah.
the hammer.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so
Oh
don't
my
let that hear.
god.
I mean,
wrote
it's
an article, the one that got me booted,
Yeah.
that said that there's so many ways to do female Thor. Why did they suddenly his entire identity and way of speech and everything goes with the hammer, when before a chick could just pick up the hammer? You know,
Yeah, and
if
Captain
there were,
America
they
didn't.
could pick, right?
Yeah.
And I said there's so many great examples. My favorite being when Storm did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so it's not like, because one, they were touting that as the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the story itself is weak. And it reads just like pandering. Granted, I was only reviewing like the first one or two. It's awful. And I said, this is every way how not to do this. You broke your own, universe's rules at this point, and give it the fuck back to Storm if you want a chick, with the hammer.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that got me shunned by the site, and then
But you're a woman.
I know. I
That's right,
thought
but
I could at least say it.
Traitor to your own kind.
She had her wrong opinion though, so
Yeah, I was the only chick writing for them at the time, actually. The only one. And I got strong-armed off by a bunch of dudes that didn't like that I
you
thought
for that.
that Jane Foster Thor was stupid.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay because they were fighting for women by firing you. So
Right.
that makes sense, right? I would say
totally.
my problem when I first saw that was not the problem that they were making Thor a woman, but was that it was the writing. It was, man, you've completely abandoned the story for your agenda, and it's like that was it was.
Well,
Yeah,
I said
it
that
was
too,
gross.
but
Exactly,
like
that
I
was
said,
gross.
she could have been Jane Foster with Thor's hammer.
Mhm.
Like, okay, do that. Why all of a sudden does she turn into Thor when Thor is Thor?
I said from the beginning of the whole thing that Thor is not a title. Thor is a name, right? Remember the inscription says power of Thor, not
Yeah, it doesn't
you
say
become
you
Thor.
become Thor.
And I can liken it because I can do that very easily. Beta Ray Bill didn't become Thor when he picked up Thor's hammer.
I put that all in there.
Captain
I put
America
Ray
didn't
Bill,
become Thor.
Captain
America didn't
America,
become
and then
Storm.
I did
Yeah.
Storm because Storm
didn't Rogue-
was my favorite chick to pick up the hammer.
Black Widow
Come on.
also picked
Rogue
up the
did
hammer.
too at one point, didn't she?
Huh?
I think Rogue did.
I
too.
believe so. I know
and I know in the
Storm wasn't the
crossover-
Storm wasn't the only one to have.
Yeah. And I know in the
Take on
crossovers, Wonder Woman did it in the Marvel DC crossover, and then the JLA Avengers crossover, Superman picked it up. So
It would have been far more interesting had they let Jane Foster be Jane Foster.
yes,
Because it's almost a little offensive too in this sense. See, I've got strong women that are in my life. My wife, my daughter. I'm raising a strong woman. I don't want her to be relevant because she's taken on a man's identity. Like she is herself. She is her own person, and she is strong and she's capable. And that's what I want people to know. And when I saw that, I was like, this is really offensive. I don't want my daughter to see this, to think that, when she reads this, she's got to think that she's got to take on some man's identity, the way he talks, the way he dresses, the way he acts, just to be powerful. You can be powerful and still wield the hammer. That was my thought, but that's, I'm not supposed to be preaching for another couple hours. So
Luke, I got a question for you about a strong woman.
This is the warm up.
What are the things about a woman that we call strong that are different from what we call strong in a man? Or maybe no, forget the qualifier. What are the things that in a woman that we call strong without her being overbearing about them?
That's a good question, but there are a lot of things. Unfortunately, sometimes I think that women think in order to be a strong woman, you have to be a masculine woman or an aggressive woman, and you don't have to be. Strength is I like how Tony Dungy used to say that quiet strength. Strength is in the ability to get some terrible news and still hold your family together. Strength is in the ability to stand up against adversity and have it with poise and beauty and respect. Strength is being able to stand up to a world that maybe is trying to throw their ideals and put you under a label and identity because of your gender or your race, and still be able to be your own person and say, no, I'm not going to go along with those things. And that's what I see in strength. I see that in men and women, but that's when I see a strong woman, that's what I really see. I'm not thinking of a strong woman that can just, punch, but you see those too on the Titan games. There's some strong women on there too, but strength is something so much more than physicality. And again, I'm not supposed to be preaching yet, man.
I see
Well said.
like a mother, right? So, to be a mother and raise children, the man can go out and, go to his job and earn money and stuff. And, that's a very tangible thing that he comes home with. He gets the paycheck at the end of the month or whatever. But, it takes a genuine strength to get up every day, be a mother, do all the things that entails, and because it's a very quiet thing. You're not going to get generally a big applause for just being a mother and raising children for year after year after year, day in, day out, all the little things. Any mother will know that it does end up being a full-time job, and
Yeah,
you know
Mom-
that is a huge
Mom doesn't
that's
get a
that takes
vacation.
massive strength.
Mom doesn't get a vacation, you know.
Exactly, mum doesn't get a vacation, and you know that isn't, you're not going to see that celebrated by these people because
In
you
fact,
know it's not
feel
them
they feel
punching.
they feel the need to punish it. They feel that
Yeah.
you're stupid for being that. You know,
True.
why would you ruin your life by having children? You know, you
One
could
of
be
the
so much more than that, and blah blah blah. You know,
biggest things that pushed me away from comics was when they decided that you can't be a strong woman unless you look like a dude, and unless
Thank
you're
you.
an asshole to pretty much everybody. Like you have to, that these characters have to go around and remind everybody they're stronger than them.
That's just being a bully.
I'm better than you, and I'm a chick. Blah blah blah. Even though I look like a dude, and I was just like,
Well, and this is the difference too between the comics nowadays and the comics of the past. Like you look at Daredevil's origin story and how he had to you had the origin story had the parallel of him as a young kid and him being older and trying to find the killers of his father. And the idea of him trying to find that inner strength that was both taught to him by the coach in the gym and the strength that was taught to him by his father, who was like, I don't want you to have to fight. I want you to go out there and make something of yourself. There was a complexity to that character where he was trying to battle the demons that he was living through, plus also honor the memory of his father. I mean, these are strengths that are not about being masculine or feminine or anything like that. This is about life. And when you have characters that are like that, but then over the years have been watered down to the point where, you can just have a girl who is just talking in the cafeteria to mean girls, gets invited to a party, and then decides to go of her own volition, and then gets made fun of. It's like, we're not talking on the same level of what people are going through and what they're going to find in real life. That's going to be significant enough to overcome. And that's Miss Marvel. The new Miss Marvel that was her story. And then she just gets handed her powers. Like there's nothing to build on with these characters. There isn't a strength in them that you have to work with or develop. And when you look at, and Daredevil is such a great example, when you look at how he had to be built up from the depression that he was going through. You had from losing his father, from being blind, from these powers that were overwhelming for him. Like he had to fight through every single aspect of his life was something he had to fight through, not just mean girls at school. When we talk about strength, that's the reason that it wasn't just boys that were reading those books. That's the reason that people could identify with them, even if they weren't blind, even if they weren't white. Anybody could identify with that because it was talking about real strength.
Think of the situation that we're in right now.
Streaming?
These yes, these people, the people who stand up and applaud and say, "Oh, that was such powerful reading that needed to be said," with that Thor scene. The ones clapping that are the same ones calling us out. The same ones saying that this here is just a pair of tits, and what do they call it? Like a poorly drawn, wonky woman who's you've never seen a woman before, and they're calling the people who are making this the awful, terrible, sexist, patriarchal.
Yeah,
and they're the ones who are applauding what we just read.
And I'm going to say this to those people: have you even looked at the story?
no, not only
Of course,
that,
they haven't.
but
Because-
a chick designed some of that look.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing. And then the other thing, if you read the story, you'll know that this is a story about, there's two things going on. This is heartbreak. This is, I never got to reconcile with my father in time because he's gone now.
Or just
Not
spoil
only
the whole
that,
damn
but
thing.
not only is my father gone, but the world's greatest hero is gone,
Mm-hmm.
And guess who they're looking to take that mantle? You know, they don't think about things like that when they say, "Oh, it's just big boobs and this and that and the other." I was like, no, our girl has more character than 90% of the bull crap that they've come up with in the last 10 years.
She's got more character in one boob than they have an entire storyline.
There's a few things going on in our culture right now. And so one of the things that's happening is, and it's all kind of working simultaneously and in conjunction with each other. The first thing they're doing is they're trying to reduce femininity in women, but increase the masculinity. And then they're trying to reduce masculinity in men and increase femininity in men. And then when you say that that's not what I want and something's not right about that, they then try to make you out to be the bad guy, to say, no, my wife wants to stay home and take care of the family. Well, that's, what's wrong? Why are you oppressing her? Or, if I happen to like guns and explosions, I'm a toxic man. Why? Just because, it's they use those insults and those things like that to try to get you to go into those categories, and it's not healthy. And it's not going to last. And we can see that it's not lasting. That's why DC's having the problem it is. That's why so many people are starting to make the migration, whether they do it publicly or not, to Comicsgate. They're buying the Comicsgate books because they want that. They want strong women leads. They want minority leads. They want all of those things. But they also want a character. And here's the kind of the last thing that they do is they're taking your heroes and they're stripping them down to be nothing more than people. They're nothing that you can look up to or try to strive and achieve. Your hero is supposed to be that moral compass that you strive for, and they're taking that away. So even the heroes are gone.
They also people are buying Comicsgate books because they want some ass titty.
Yeah, I saw for the first time. I feel like they have been sort of avoiding this. I saw someone actually give a definition of toxic masculinity.
Oh.
And it was the sort of the way men use their strength and aggression and violence to dominate others. And it struck me that that's a lot of what these people are trying to impose onto women. So they're trying to take whatever they see men as and put that onto women and call that strong, powerful, empowered women. Mm-hmm. And then the man now is, neutered in their eyes. It is a very strange thing.
It's weird. My wife found the best argument about that. So apparently there's apparently in order because we act the way it is, it's because we were someone used anger and violence and they manhandled me. So I became the way that I am, masculine. And so I'm just a victim of some kind of oppression. So if you shame me for being who I am, you're actually victim shaming me. And so see, that's the thing. The revolution devours itself. And not only does their logic start to implode upon itself, but I literally have sat at the table just within the last month with people that are kind of in that vein, that they are ready without any notice to devour one another. There's no loyalty there. There's no camaraderie there. It's just
if you look at some of the people who have been exposed in the Whisper Network and things like that, they have already shown that they would turn on each other at the drop of a hat.
Oh yeah.
Right. I think it was what's her name? Heather Antos, when the whole thing with Jay Lee was going on. She made a comment because Jay Lee said, I don't know what's going on with this Comicsgate stuff. Well, he did Comicsgate, but he's like, I just did a comic. I did a cover. I was paid to do it. That kind of thing. And then she comes out with that cryptic tweet, and he's like, that's not true. It's not what he told me. I have receipts. I'm like,
do you really?
Heather, what would be great when you say you've got receipts?
Show them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, saying you got receipts. See, I think that people like her, and, there's many, many people that have her mentality, right? And I think people like them, they think that receipts is, I thought it up and it's true.
Well, facts are they're kind of a pesky thing that gets in the way of feelings. And
yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of Ben Shapiro, but he did nail that when he said facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
But Yeah, exactly. Receipts. Oh no.
See, that's something interesting I grew up with was people talking to my father about feelings, and my father not seeing what's the problem, and I think especially I've been told because of the sound of my voice, just the fact that it's deep, and I don't use a lot of inflection. My inflection is very narrow, until I learned radio, and then I learned to inflect more. But it's that he would, if he was instructing you, well, first we hated to go to him for help with math homework because clarifying math was giving it to you louder. And so he didn't understand that he was scaring the hell out of people. And so then, if he speaks, you'll probably hear my dad and me. If I rewound this, I could be like, yeah, there's my dad's expression right there, that kind of thing. But if he said something very pointedly because he wants to be clear, it might come across like he's trying to hit you in the head with a hammer. And so scaring people who are younger, children, that got in the way of what about feelings, and it confused him. Then the next step was, and this gets into a bit of Dinesh D'Souza because he gave me the book Illiberal Education when I was younger. What's going on is using feelings to manipulate around facts, and we see that continuing to today. So that's something my dad really tried to teach me, but I didn't understand at the time. When it's one, you're scaring the hell out of me, and he's like, forget your feelings. I'm going, I'm having trouble with that because I'm 10, But then on the other hand, we're being manipulated by our feelings constantly, and he was trying to instill in me not to let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for that video.
That was the buzzkill.
Who's that woman?
Did I see Dan Frege in the chat? I see other people saying "Hail Frege Boom." Were we just hailing ass titty, or what was?
Might have been
I
hailing
think just ass titty.
I think Jack Stafford said, reduce the fraction to the lowest common denominator. Ow!
Who's that woman who said, if you don't like my books,
Kelly
That
Sue
was
DeConnick.
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Getting dropped
yeah.
from the book she, said not read.
Well, they listened.
Yeah.
Can't complain about that.
This was spite, just because I'm trying to copy and paste at the same time. Just because of her attitude and whatnot, I did buy an Aquaman book. It was the issue that she was on vacation for and someone else wrote.
There you go. Spite work.
Nice.
Bleeding Fool
Good.
just reissued her.
Yeah. I was saw it
statements.
today.
Ah.
Here it is. I just wanted to share this again.
Oh.
It's so beautiful.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Let's preface this. If only there was
Hang
some
on.
reasonable explanation for why DC Comics would cancel Aquaman, written by Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Let's hear it.
It's problematic if it's upsetting to your delicate constitution. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. No, you like my Twitter feed? Unfollow me. Magic.
These are literally people saying, "I don't like money if you don't agree with me."
Mm-hmm.
And she's blind to the dynamic that her Twitter feed goes beyond people she follows. Or sorry, the other way around, people who follow her.
Yeah.
The
Man.
one
It's
thing-
just.
the one thing that gets me about her, especially, and I think a few people have noticed this, is because that she wrote the first run of the quote Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers. They're basically trying to say she created Captain Marvel,
Oh my God.
and I'm like, because she gets invited to all the red carpet stuff. Anytime it's brought up, it's like, oh, it's Kelly Sue DeConnick and Captain Marvel. I'm like, she didn't create the character. She put
Just
herself,
made it
herself,
worse.
her politics, and all her crap into the character. She was Tom King before Tom King.
Yep.
Let me impose my my psychoses and things like that into this character. It's like no Tom King, no Kelly Sue. We don't want you. We don't want you. We want the character. We want Batman. We want Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel or whatever.
What? You don't want to hear
You
about
can
how
make
he
these
loves his
characters
wife.
whoever you want. Why would we want them to be you?
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem with a lot of these people is they honestly are the center of their own universe. Like they really feel like when they walk into a room, they're the smartest person there. They feel like their opinion is the one that everyone needs to listen to, and they feel like whatever they put their hand to is the most valuable thing that anyone could be a part of. And it's ego. It is a huge ego, and it's delusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not only that, but they are looking to own something. They're looking to actually own a part of those characters. So when they go into the room, they say, "Hey, can I write for Batman, or can I write for Captain Marvel?" They want to put their thumbprint on it. It's their way of marking it as theirs. You know, it's like kind of like cats going around peeing on everything, and they. They will make, that's how they make their money, because when those things get made into movies, when those plot points get written into stories, they're the ones that will pull the paycheck from it.
Yeah. I was talking with, and you probably know him, Anthony Figueroa. He's the one that kind of introduced me into the Comicsgate community. We were talking, and he was like, we were both kind of agreeing that at one point, I would have been really scared. We would have been really scared to write any one of those major characters in fear of messing them up. But right now, there's nothing that any of us here in this room could do to write those characters that would make them worse than what they are.
Nope. It's like somewhere along the line, I think we've all heard Ethan talk about this when he went to work at DC, that the writers and the artists are all told, you are the stewards of these characters. You don't own these characters. They're not you. At some point, something changed.
Yeah.
And it has to be an editorial thing, because that should always be the case in any company that, you're going into, where it's not just something you create. It needs to be, you are a steward, but you do not own it. It is not you. It is not for you. It is for you to create. Or let me take that back. Is for you to make something that people will appeal to and will buy more of. That's it.
Yeah, forgive me for not having the source on this, but it's been said somewhere that they. Sorry, I just read the private chat. I didn't realize what time it was. So anyway, it's been said somewhere that they didn't want to create their own characters. Their response to go create your own character was, "Oh, but that character doesn't have the visibility that."
That was me. I was having a discussion with someone on a comic thread, and we were talking about this, and I said, "But you can't just, take these existing characters and just change them up to use them because you want to, get some sort of representation box or whatever you want to do with them. You should create your own characters." And their response literally back was, "But no one knows about those. People care about these old characters. People will read them. So if we create new ones, no one's going to read them."
I love the whole
of what Luke was just saying about ego. Their egos are so huge that they need the platform to, they have to take over Batman or whatever, or Wonder Woman, to get the platform for their message. And that's how important they think they are. And that's what I was getting at, was what Luke said.
I don't think they really even have a message. I don't think that's their prime goal. I think it's just that they want to make a paycheck and they need to change it. If they don't have a viable reason to change it, then they don't own enough of it. So they have to be the contrarians and look at feminist agendas
and like I said, they always thought there were no strong female women in the 90s. I mean, I read X-Men. There were at least like 5 or 6 of them just on two different teams. There was no diversity. Did I forget Bishop being introduced during the 90s?
Yeah.
Did we forget that Storm was kind of the leader of the X-Men for a while?
She was completely the leader of the X-Men, and Monica Rambeau was leader of the Avengers.
The Avengers, yep.
Yeah.
And one of the better runs, that didn't have the big 3,
And she actually went through real conflict in that. Like, her storyline was actually really, really good, because she was always like, she's like, I feel like I don't deserve to be here. Like, I haven't earned this spot. And it was like,
you remember, real problems. You remember the issue? I forgot what it was, but where he had like Ben Grimm talking to Monica, and he found out her name was Captain Marvel, and she said like, "Well, I just thought it sounded cool."
Yeah.
and he said, he said, yeah, I knew him, but I think Marv would appreciate you having the name.
Yeah,
you know? And see, that was like, that's a good way to do a kind of a passing of the torch of a name. If you're somebody else is going to. And the thing was, it's like Monaco didn't have Marv's powers.
Yeah.
They had two totally different power sets, so it worked that even though she had the name, she was still a different character altogether. So.
Hey, look,
Guys,
in the morning, are you preaching or are you playing music and preaching?
I'm playing music and preaching.
That tires you out.
It does.
so
it does.
And as you can see, my co-host is just giving up the ghost.
She's falling asleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we might end it out there. This has been a really good show. What a great discussion. I had a lot of fun doing this. And Luke, thanks so much for coming on, man. We'll definitely get you back this week to properly plug hybrids. So let me just
absolutely.
I've just had a lot of fun talking with everyone and getting to know them, and just the back and forth. It's been really great. So
yeah. So just before we'll like I said, we'll definitely get Luke back on. Yeah, man, you're really good on the stream, and I'm really looking forward to kind of picking your brain and a little bit more and all this stuff. So yeah, anyone though who's here, because we've got 60 people here, go check out Hybrids, a mailing list. That's Luke. You've been listening to him, and he's got a lot of good things to say. We've had Peregrine up as well. That book is still going, and of course the Lucent as well. Where's that going at the moment? Hang on. Scrolling back up, 553 back as well. That's great. I guess we're trying to shoot for 555 now. So if anyone is here who hasn't picked that up yet, grab that up. Guys, thanks so much. This has been fantastic. Look, Piper is like fully asleep now.
Yeah.
She is
full gone.
She is genuinely out of it.
When you log off, I'll get her up.
All right, guys, we're gonna let Piper go to bed. The chat, man, you've been fantastic today. What a sexy chat. Always great to hang out with you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, bye.